Good morning. Happy Monday to you. Welcome back from the weekend. Now, the weather forecast states that it's likely to be partly cloudy. But, well, who cares as long as you have a very hot cup of Ugandan coffee alongside informative discussions here on UBC TV, always ready to inspire you. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda. Now, leading Kenyan lawyer and the country's former justice minister, that is Martha Karua, said that she was deported from Tanzania to prevent her from attending the court case of the opposition leader in Tanzania, that is Tundu Lissu. Now, Kenya is, Karua rather, is someone who is respected as a human rights activist and advocate, but also a vocal critique of what she calls democratic backsliding in East Africa. And you might remember her here in Uganda when she came to represent Dr. Kizza Besigye, who's also facing treason charges here in Uganda. But with that being said, welcome once again. My name is Julie Nantaba Musisi, and I am not alone. Robert Chirabo Nyonyi Ntono is with me. Good morning, Robert.
A lovely morning to our viewer. And of course, Julie here. Thank you so very much for waking up with us this morning. And of course, good news to Ugandans and the East African area globally, or members in the East African state. Now you can fly directly from Entebbe to London. Now, what does this mean? First and foremost, if we look at the arrivals in Uganda, majority of them have been coming in from the United Kingdom. And this means in terms of trade, in terms of tourism, many of them now you can just get a flight from the UK and here you're in Uganda, or from Uganda and directly to UK. So this reduces jet lag and also these transitions from one plane to another plane, so that you can get to your destination. But also for the exporters, now this is very good news. Ugandans in the agribusiness that have been taking flowers, we take matoke, we take yams, we take a lot of things, the agriculture sector. Now these connecting flights have been a problem. But now with Uganda Airlines, and remember, it offers the cheapest in case you're to travel, but also in case of carrying luggage. I know a number of friends of mine, young men who have made money. And how are they making money? They are called transporters, people in Dubai. Right. There are these young boys, all they do and how they survive is they bring things from Dubai to Uganda and from Uganda to Dubai. So people just send them, but they know if they fly like twice a week or more. Now, they will tell you that if you're taking anything, the best flight to use is Uganda Airlines. Why? It gives you more cargo to take. It gives you more kilos in terms of weight. And also they will tell you in terms of comfort. We have one of the best in the East African region. Best planes, if I may use that word. So here we are, Uganda Airlines, after so many years, we hit the skies and we are flying direct to London. Of course, this makes it now 17 destinations. See how good we are doing in aviation. Remember, this is one of the most expensive and most complicated business. Right. Many national carriers do not make profit, by the way, but they keep the flag flying. And we believe, according to the CEO Uganda Airlines, she said, this is opening business. And above all, this is going to make us get so much money that comes in. Remember, trade, tourism, but also when you look at the records, UK being the country where most arrivals come from to Uganda. So it's an opportunity now.
It is indeed, and one that lights up our joy as Ugandans. And speaking of lighting up, Light Up Uganda for Jesus is one event that is taking place starting today on the 19th of May all the way to the 24th of May. And it's going to be at the Kololo Independence Grounds. I need to get that fact clear. I'm confusing between Kololo and Old Kampala SS Grounds. But we shall be giving you the facts there as time goes by. But this particular event is hosted by Pastor Patience Rabogo and Elder Odrek Rabogo. Has many pastors, many preachers, and one that you should attend because it is highly spiritual for Uganda, as Uganda is in a sensitive time of crossing over to the next phase of Uganda's life. And who are we if we do not intercede for our own nation? That being said, let's get on with what is on the local scene.
We begin with President Yoweri Museveni in his effort to eliminate or reduce or alleviate poverty in the country, where Chichwamba Senior Secondary School grounds yesterday, the 18th of May, hosted President Yoweri Museveni as he concluded Tororo sub-region tour. In Chichwamba, President Museveni was received by members of cabinet, the NRM Secretary General, service chiefs, among others. President Museveni was accompanied by the First Lady Janet Kataha Museveni. With peace, unity and stability, Museveni said it's now time to embark on development and wealth creation. Wealth creators like Nyakana were invited by the president to share their experience. Museveni reiterated that through government, and although government is committed to improving infrastructure across the country, livelihood programs will take priority. To the local area, the president made various monetary assistance. Present were ministers Frank Tumwebaze, Alice Kaboyo, Tom Butime, among others. Kitagwenda public rally marked the last day of President Yoweri Museveni's wealth creation visit in western Uganda, and now he heads to Luwero. The Vice President, Jessica Alupo, commended the church for its role in shaping Ugandans into responsible citizens and empowering them to improve their livelihood. The retired major recognized the church's effort in establishing schools, health facilities, and other projects that supplement government services, as well as its role in extending financial support to communities across the country. The Vice President made the remarks during the launch of the Archdiocese of Mbarara Development Foundation, emphasized hard work and wealth creation, urging Ugandans to engage in gainful employment, highlighting the ongoing parish development model campaign and other government initiatives aimed at poverty eradication. And finally, on the local scene, the Bishop of Bukedia Diocese, Right Reverend Canon George Samuel Bwogere Egesa, warned against grabbing church land, which undermines church development programs. He was presiding over the ratification of Siwa land donation of 45.4 acres to All Saints Church of Uganda, Kwapa in Tororo District. The Bishop of Bukedia Diocese directed church leaders at various levels to ensure that the church land is protected from grabbers. He also warned against encroaching on the land. He advised Toro parents to consider the education of their children as the first priority. The spokesperson of the Ziwa family, Dr. Joel Emonjo, reaffirmed that their grandfather, Ernest Ziwa, donated the 45.4 acres of land to All Saints Church of Uganda, Kapua, in 1923, but the community members have encroached on the land. Tororo District cultural and political leaders advised the community to unite and work towards development. At least 119 children of All Saints Church of Uganda, Kapua, were confirmed. And that brings us to the end of our local stories this morning.
Well, thank you, Robert, for that. Now, to correct the venue of the Light Up Uganda for Jesus conference, it's taking place at Kololo Independence Grounds, that is at the airstrip. So be sure to be a part of it, starting today all the way into the 24th of May. But moving on to the foreign scene, former President Joe Biden, who is 82 years, has been diagnosed with prostate cancer that has spread to his bones. And this is a statement that was made from his office on Sunday. Now, Biden, who left office in January, was diagnosed on Friday after he saw a doctor last week for urinary symptoms. The cancer is a more aggressive form of the disease, characterized by a Gleason score of 9 out of 10. This means his illness is classified as high grade, and the cancer cells could spread quickly, according to the cancer research in the UK. Biden and his family are said to be reviewing treatment options. His office added that the cancer was hormone sensitive, meaning it could likely be managed. After news broke of his diagnosis, the former president received support from both sides of the aisle. President Donald Trump wrote on his social media platform, Truth Social, that he and First Lady Melania Trump are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. Now, moving on, Pope Leo XIV has received the symbols of his office in an inaugural mass marking the beginning of his papacy and ministry as leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. During the ceremony, he was presented with the pallium of the Metropolitan of the Roman province as the Fisherman's Ring by Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, historic emblems of his new role as Bishop of Rome and successor to Saint Peter. Now, earlier, Pope Leo XIV made his first journey through St. Peter's Square in the Pope Mobile, waving to tens of thousands of faithful from the back of an open vehicle as the crowd chanted "Viva il Papa" and waved national flags. The inaugural mass drew a global audience and was also attended by Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Edward, and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. Now, moving on to Kenya and Tanzania here in East Africa, leading Kenyan lawyer and the country's former justice minister, Karua Martha, says she has been deported from Tanzania to prevent her from attending the court case of opposition leader Tundu Lissu. Two colleagues accompanying her were also reportedly detained and deported after flying in from neighboring Kenya. Tanzania authorities have not yet commented, and Lissu, who is the leader of Tanzania's main opposition party, Chadema Party, is due to appear in court today after being charged with treason last month. Karua is a respected human rights advocate and a vocal critic of what she calls democratic backsliding in East Africa. She has also been representing Ugandan opposition politician Kizza Besigye, who was kidnapped in Kenya last year and taken back to his home country to face treason charges. Now, like Lissu, he denies the charges, arguing that they are politically motivated. Karua served as Kenya's justice minister from 2005 to 2009 and was the running mate of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga in his failed presidential bid in elections in 2022. She launched her own party, opposition party, the People's Liberation Party, PLP, earlier this year. Well, that is it from the foreign scene, but let's have a look at what is in the dailies today. Robert.
Well, we have the new vision this morning, and we look at panic as new succession law starts to bite. Well, what is in the law? Now, Uganda Airlines lands in London. We also have America approves Uganda's diabetes drug. And still in the new vision, Museveni commissions Toro Industrial Hub. Not to forget, there are a number of job opportunities for you as well in the new vision this morning. Now allow me to rush through the Citizen this morning and CRDB Bank shareholders approve record of 170 billion shilling dividend payout. In the agriculture sector also there is NBN, that is Foundation Steps Up Cocoa Sector. And still looking at the Citizen, we have cashew nut processors call for incentives to boost value addition. Still how Janabi won votes support to secure top World Health Organization Africa post. And Zito Kabwe sued over IPTL comments. Then experts warn as Tanzania sees huge increase in UTI cases. Oh. Now Julie will take us through the Gazette.
That hit home. That really hits home. But indeed, let's have a look at the Gazette as of 16th May 2025. And in there is the Marriage Act notice, the Mining and Minerals Act notice, the Education, Pre-Primary, Primary and Post-Primary notices, the Political Parties and Organizations Act notice, the Advocates Act notices, Companies Act notices, Insolvency Act notices, the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Regulations notices, the Electricity Act notices, the Local Government Rating Act notice, the Police Control of Private Security Organs Regulations notices, the Trademarks Act alteration of trademarks, and the Trademarks Act registration of applications advertisements. And in there is Bill number 17, the Forensic and Scientific Analytical Service Bill 2025, as well as the statutory instruments number 48 and number 49, number 48 being the Financial Institutions Corporate Governance Amendment Regulations 2025 and the Collective Investment Schemes Licensing Regulations 2025. There is also the Marriage Act notice, and this is to recognize the Church St. Paul's Rubare, Church of Uganda, denomination Anglican, the village is Chabakuju, parish Akatojo, sub-county Rubare Trading Center, and the county is Rushenyi, district in Ntungamo, as of the 16th day of April, as a church suitable for handling marriages and wedding banns, as by Honorable Norbert Mao, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. And another one to take note of is the Mining and Minerals Act notice of grant of an exploration license, and it is hereby notified that exploration license number EL00469, registered as number 003510, has been granted in the accordance with the provisions of section 43 and 47 to Shanik Resources Uganda Limited, PO Box 654 Entebbe, for a period of 4 years, effective 18th March 2025. And this is by Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankabirwa Sentamu. And another one to take note of is new appointments, replacements to Board of Governors in exercise of the powers conferred by Section 29 of the Education, Pre-Primary, Primary and Post-Primary Act, CAP 247. The appointment is by the for the following persons that are to be the Board of Governors of Kapion High School with effect from the 20th of January, and that is Foundation Body Representatives Kibet Fred, Kusuro Nelson, Wanjala Cedric Wanyonyi, Soko Patrick Muneria, Chelangat Justin, and parents representatives being Langat Kenneth Kokoi and Sameteo Godfrey. And this is a note to take off. And that's it from the Gazette as of 16th May 2025. For now, let's have a short break as we enjoy the song Forever by Carol Komeza. Good morning, Uganda. A lot is still your way.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning. Happy Monday to you. Welcome back from the weekend. Now, the weather forecast states that it's likely to be partly cloudy. But, well, who cares as long as you have a very hot cup of Ugandan coffee alongside informative discussions here on UBC TV, always ready to inspire you. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda. Now, leading Kenyan lawyer and the country's former justice minister, that is Martha Karua, said that she was deported from Tanzania to prevent her from attending the court case of the opposition leader in Tanzania, that is Tundu Lissu. Now, Kenya is, Karua rather, is someone who is respected as a human rights activist and advocate, but also a vocal critique of what she calls democratic backsliding in East Africa. And you might remember her here in Uganda when she came to represent Dr. Kizza Besigye, who's also facing treason charges here in Uganda. But with that being said, welcome once again. My name is Julie Nantaba Musisi, and I am not alone. Robert Chirabo Nyonyi Ntono is with me. Good morning, Robert.
A lovely morning to our viewer. And of course, Julie here. Thank you so very much for waking up with us this morning. And of course, good news to Ugandans and the East African area globally, or members in the East African state. Now you can fly directly from Entebbe to London. Now, what does this mean? First and foremost, if we look at the arrivals in Uganda, majority of them have been coming in from the United Kingdom. And this means in terms of trade, in terms of tourism, many of them now you can just get a flight from the UK and here you're in Uganda, or from Uganda and directly to UK. So this reduces jet lag and also these transitions from one plane to another plane, so that you can get to your destination. But also for the exporters, now this is very good news. Ugandans in the agribusiness that have been taking flowers, we take matoke, we take yams, we take a lot of things, the agriculture sector. Now these connecting flights have been a problem. But now with Uganda Airlines, and remember it offers the cheapest in case you're to travel, but also in case of carrying luggage. I know a number of friends of mine, young men who have made money and how